really, really hot. And there's a dust storm, and now my mouth is full of dirt. So much for the next video. This isn't even the next chapter. This is, I don't even know what this is. It's a year later. Let's recap. So after already being bit by the tiny home van life bug thing and converting a bus with my ex, we broke up. And I left Montreal, plan in hand, to build a tiny trailer to explore the country, find home, yada yada, grand adventure, whoop-de-doo. That's kind of what I did. I bought a 5x10 utility trailer down in Florida and spent, it was like 5 or 6 months building the thing into a tiny micro home with like running water, a hot shower, bed, desk, kitchen, the whole deal. Just really small. And then we get to here. See, I had this brilliant idea to buy some super cheap land in the middle of the desert and set up like an off-grid home base sort of thing. Still travel, but home base. So I did that. It turns out to be super convenient timing too, because that's like right when COVID hit really hard in the US. Getting from Florida to Arizona, let alone traveling the entire country, less than practical. I grew up in the desert, about an hour from here. So yeah, I bought the land having not seen it in person, but I kind of knew what I was getting myself in for. Even still, you get out here and it's just kind of like, oh, that's a lot of dirt. Dirt and bushes. Where do I even park? Figure it out. First thing was first. I found this little area of land where I'm standing that was already relatively flat and didn't have too many bushes on it. And so I parked here. And this is where I lived for the first month. And that was my backyard. Next, I needed a secure place to store tools and stuff. Was this a lifelong dream finally being fulfilled? Then there was other stuff to figure out. There is no electricity and no water out here, so I need a big old tank and a pump just to be able to fill up the trailer. And then I have to figure out how to fill this tank up from the water haul station down the street. Once that was there though, it was like, whoa, I've got 275 gallons of running water. And it was like every little thing was this huge improvement and this real progress. Every time I'd clear a little bit more land or rip out another bush with my truck, which never gets old, it was really satisfying. It wasn't necessarily fun, but it was satisfying and distracting from the discomfort of living off-grid in the middle of the desert. Every day, more progress. I got my water thing sorted. I upgraded the AC in the trailer. I got another... I've been told I talk too much about generators. So we're not going to. Started to build a 12x16 workshop? We're getting somewhere. And it became less about building life and more about just living it. It also started to hit the worst part of summer, which is like 110 to 115 degrees or 40 to 45 Celsius. I wasn't really spending much time outside. I was spending the majority of my time inside the trailer, working on music, confined to 50 square feet of living space. At least it was cold with the new AC, which is not on right now. The other thing that happened is I needed a haircut. It was about that time of 2020. I mentioned I grew up about an hour from here. Well, I drove there to get a haircut. My hometown. It's kind of weird to say because I've lived so many places that are not that. It was more than just the haircut though, even if that was the excuse. I have people there, friends I haven't seen in 15 years. Some of whom, despite a very strong connection to, I wasn't really sure I was gonna see again. Well, that changed. I got the haircut and I saw the people, and I don't know, time passed, COVID, living alone in the middle of the desert. It was nice, and probably a little bit more of a relief than it should have been. I was going into Havasu more and more often. Hang out at the pool, go indoor ice skating, because that is the best thing you can do when it's 120 degrees outside. And every time I would head back to my little desert adventure thing. Now, let's talk about breaking points. There were two. I was in the trailer, everything had been fine, I was working on a song, and all of a sudden everything just got really claustrophobic. It was so small and so cramped. And I almost knocked over the microphone. I was looking for guitar picks. I ended up knocking over the cup of coffee or something instead. And it was just like, no, we are done with this. So I moved all my stuff into the workshop I had been building, and the trailer became my kitchen and my shower. That's it. And then about a month later, same freaking thing. Sort of. Like, yeah, it's a bit more space, but you are constantly managing every single aspect of living. Is there enough gas in the generators? Which cables and water lines are hooked up if you want to do laundry or run the pump, but obviously not at the same time. Everything is constantly dirty. And yeah, I know there's a lot of people who love it, but I ain't one of them. Truth is, it's hardly just that. It's that isolation. I like people. And even if you're somebody who likes to spend a lot of time by themselves, that's a lot different than being out there and isolated most of the time. I woke up one morning to discover a water line in the trailer had burst. It's not a big deal. It's a cheap, quick, easy fix. I used the wrong tube, no big deal. But that was it. That was breaking point number 2. So I packed up some very basic stuff and rented a hotel in Havasu for the week. If nothing else, it's a break for a week. You know, I get to kind of recharge. Maybe I can go back, keep going. Nope. I woke up one night to a car driving past outside. And my first thought was, the generator is running out of gas and I have to go wake up to fill it. Why is that a thing that's going on in there? That's not something I should think. So I found a house to rent in Havasu. It's a short-term thing. I can keep it going or not, but being able to cook in a big kitchen or walk into a shower and turn a knob, or being able to flush a toilet, even just being able to flip on a light switch, it's magnificent. I know y'all who have been following really want to see the trailer. It cools off in about a week, and then I will give you a tour. And I will show you my cabin and my shipping container and all of my dirt. I will show you every last little piece of dirt. But right now, I really need to pack up and get out of here. It's uncomfortable being here. It's hot, but that's not what I mean. Eventually, this whole thing will be a really neat little cabin that I can go to, and, you know, off-grid will be quaint and charming, a way to disconnect, whatever. What's next?